Now, the real action during the past decade has been with this inattentive group of children, most of whom are combined type children. And they grew up, and they lost some hyperactivity along the way, as we said. And as a result, there's going to come a time in adolescence, and especially by adulthood, where they're just not hyperactive enough to stay in the combined type anymore. And so clinicians relabel them as inattentive type, but they shouldn't. Once combined type, always combined type. But you can see how at least half of the individuals get put into the inattentive group. They're just outgrowing their hyperactivity. And then there's that group of children who just are one or two symptoms short of being in the combined type, but they have the combined type anyway. They're just a milder version of it. But interestingly, 30 to 50% of the children who are now called inattentive type probably have a different disorder. And researchers have called them SCT. It's about 30 to 50% of all inattentive type children. And we now believe this is a qualitatively unique disorder. The debate now is whether this is a separate type of ADHD, a point with which I disagree, or is it a qualitatively separate disorder, a point with which I agree. Why would I view this as a different disorder? First of all, the symptoms are the opposite of ADHD, but you won't see them anywhere in the DSM. But these are the most compelling symptoms that go with SCT. But because these children also have an attention problem, there is no place else to put them, because ADHD is the only attention disorder in the DSM. So they get dropped into ADHD, even though they have no symptoms in common with it. These individuals have a problem with processing information, which ADHD children do not have. These children have trouble with focused attention, choosing what's important from what's not. ADHD children do not. Their problem is in persistence. These people may have a long-term memory storage problem, or it could just be the same attention problem that appears when they search their memory. What is quite distinct about them is that they are socially withdrawn, reticent, shy, apprehensive, and often prone to social anxiety. But certainly, socially reticent is a very good word for them. This is not a word that would ever be applied to an ADHD child. Most importantly and tellingly, they do not have an inhibition disorder. And inhibition is the heart of ADHD. And therefore, they do not have a self-regulation disorder. And ADHD is a self-regulation disorder. And these individuals do not have the executive deficits that I just listed for you that go with ADHD. For those reasons alone, you could argue that this is a distinct disorder, but there are others. There is a very low rate of oppositional and conduct disorder associated with this type of child. ODD and CD are much more common in ADHD children. These children have more anxiety problems. ADHD children, while 1 in 4 may have anxiety, it's far higher in this group. We're not sure if depression goes with this group. Both groups have about a 20 to 25% risk of depression, but it doesn't distinguish the two disorders. When we interview families of these children, their parents are concerned only about school. Nothing else. These are good kids, not disruptive. Outside of school, they even have a few friends, not as many as other children, but more than ADHD children will ever have. So the big concern is, let's get that schoolwork done and the mistakes they're making in school. You interview the parent of an ADHD child, they're worried about everything. Peer relationships, family functioning, community behavior, not to mention what happens as the teen gets older and starts driving and having a job and managing money and becoming sexually active. SCT families don't worry about any of that stuff. ADHD families worry, and well, they should.